So Hello and welcome one and all to the Drop Spot. Great to have you guys here. My name is Adam Savage. Really good to be back hosting this week. So exciting, so much to talk about here on the talk show. All about Fortnite. We've got so much coming your way. However, it's not just myself. I'm of course joined by the legendary this week, Panda and Vanessa. Guys, it is great to see you. Familiar face. Family at this point as well here. Panda, you are obviously fresh back from San Diego, DreamHack. I mean, you're looking great, my friend. You're good. And it's good to see you here on the show. How have you been reading, my friend? How's it?
Oh, it's been going good. Obviously, incredible weekend from DreamHack San Diego. We'll get a chance to talk about that here in a few moments. But no, it was an incredible weekend filled with some incredible players. But speaking of other incredible players, we also got Vanessa on the show with us.
I know, it's amazing. Vanessa, it's so good to have you here. I haven't seen you since FNCS Invitational last year. You and I were on the stage having a chat in front of thousands of people, and now here we are having a chat on the Drop Spot. It's great to have you here. I mean, for those who haven't seen your content or know about you as a creator, what can you tell us about yourself and your history in the wonderful thing that is Fortnite?
I'm Vanessa. I am a 23-year-old full-time streamer and content creator for Luminosity Gaming. It feels great to be back talking with you guys, talking about Fortnite, especially since it's been, over 6 months since FNCS Invitational. So it feels good to be back here talking about what I love to do, talk about Fortnite, play it every day for a living. It's so great. And I honestly really enjoy the game, even though it's technically not catered for adults, but I'm still enjoying it.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Listen, I think we can all agree here, all the three of us, we're adults. And I think it's catered to me. I mean, have you seen the kinetic blade? How do you think that's how this old man gets around the map?
And you're right. You know, I have to pinch myself sometimes. We're talking about Fortnite, and this is our job. It's the best job ever. We're loving this. It's great to have you here, Vanessa, Panda. We've got so much to break down for you guys here as well. Topics for tonight. We must talk about the 24.20 update, the 24.2 update, very recent, last few days here. Cash cups, including FNCS, in just a few hours' time it kicks off. As Panda mentioned as well here, a front row seat he had, and we'll talk all about that very shortly as well here. But let's dive right in to 24.20, the update that has set the world alight. It's great to talk about this. We've seen brand new ODM, mythic ODM gear, added to the game here. This could really change things up. Super exciting for players around the world right now. Panda, big game changer this, and one that is really, really worth talking about and highlighting, because with FNCS a few hours away as well, this is massive for our players.
I mean, look, if you're a pro player and you're getting ready to compete in FNCS and you haven't been practicing or trying to work in the ODM gear, you're definitely going to find yourself falling behind, because this has been an incredible change to the game and the pacing of the game as well. Remember, up until this point, we had the kinetic blade, and that's how players were able to kind of move around the map. But now this new item not only allows you to move a lot more efficiently, in my opinion, it also gives you a side weapon, essentially, to create some pretty massive damage and break builds. So with an item like this in the game, you may see teams shifting in week 2 and 3 towards all in on this item, because week 1, there may not be a ton of time to practice and change the way you drop ahead of it. But week 2 and 3, you're going to see it be a pretty big factor in a lot of teams' gameplay.
I know I'm sure there are a lot of pros practicing in scrims right now how to use it. And even though it is good stacked endgame practice, I'm sure after FNCS week 1, people are going to VOD review. They're going to see how other teams are using it to their advantage that they have probably been keeping a secret, so other teams don't use it yet. But maybe for week 2, week 3, people are going to make some changes of how they play endgame, or they might even switch up their drop spot to land on those ODM gears so they can have a better endgame experience.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it really affects, the POIs drops as well, because, players, I mean, there must be some as well, Panda, here, who obviously want to utilize the kind of the new things that they have available to them, the mythic ODM, as we mentioned here, and want to use the gear. However, there is such a big, massive another area of Fortnite where, away from those items, where do you think our players will be focusing more on that side of things and how they play the game usually, regardless of anything new added to the game? Or is it truly vital that you must kind of master this to a degree, because it is going to be such an influential factor come FNCS starting very soon?
Well, when you look at where the ODM gear lands across the map, there's only one area that doesn't have a significant amount of them, and that's that snowy biome up towards that northeast side. So essentially, there are a few that still land there, but not as many as other places on the map. So we're going to see teams focusing on trying to get that at least in the beginning. But again, with all the strategies not necessarily completely created quite yet, I don't think we'll see it make a dramatic impact in week number 1 like we will in 2 and 3. But if you're ever going to want to watch a team that can pick up on a new item fast, it's going to be Seti and Cammy. These two genuinely know how to take anything that's added new to the game and run with it quick. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them do some big things with the ODM gear going into FNCS week 1 for Major 2. So that's definitely one team I'm going to be paying close attention to once it comes to that gear. But I think there's some other additional changes, like the Jelly Ogler augment that has been removed. We also got to talk about kinetic blades too. There's a new rarity of kinetic blades, making them more accessible across the map, Vanessa.
Yeah, the blue rarity is really nice to teams that aren't landing on the bottom right half of the map, where they are very much easier to find because they just spawn right there. And anyone that's landing on, like you said, the snowy side that doesn't even have the ODM gear, they have a better chance of finding the blue rarity katanas, so they have the 2 slashes to rotate around the map.
Yeah, we know how vital having the skill set around rotation is in general, but it's going to be great to kind of see the POV of players when so many of them are going to be descending using different blades and ODM gear to get into the kind of the final kind of phase of the storm. I can't wait to see what the OBS team managed to capture from these competitions, because it's going to look amazing, Panda.
Oh, it is. Trust me, I know the teams there. I mean, they're going to be doing some work to get some really incredible shots going into week 1. So I'm pumped to see the weekend come to fruition. And honestly, I think there's some teams that you kind of have to learn from going into the weekend that are going to figure out these items, and then other teams are going to pick up on it in week 2 and 3.
Yeah, like how I had mentioned with the scrims and the VOD reviewing after week 1, people are really gonna. There are certain teams they've got their eyes out on that are probably like, oh, this is who I need to learn from. Or even like cross region, people are probably going to VOD review. Anyone on NA is probably going to VOD review EU pros, especially because in the Fortnite competitive scene, EU pros are some of the best. So they're going to VOD review who they think is landing their spot or is playing the meta correctly. And they're going to learn and they're going to implement as fast as they can on their region.
Yeah, I can't wait to see exactly what happens. And as we said, it's out there right now. The update 24.20 is there to enjoy. Go and do so, because it's great. Really adds a lot, another layer to the game as well. Let's talk about duo cash cups. I mean, this is a big thing. Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned FNCS. We're going to get really deep into that very shortly. As you mentioned, it's happening so soon. But duo cash cups here as well. What are some of we love storylines here, don't we, Panda? We love storylines and kind of knowing what's happening between our players, and the narratives is ever changing. What's been happening in cash cups recently?
Well, I think the first story to talk about is NA, right? And we got Chi and Pump that over the weekend, and we're in they also do it together from setup, but from a setup that they're not used to using. They were able to get a top 10 finish there. So that's playing from San Diego, which you and I both know is not necessarily the best spot to play on the new region. Now, for them to do that and also get a top 10 finish in DreamHack shows that this is a team to be reckoned with. I'm going to be paying close attention to them going into the weekend. Another thing, of course, we got to pay attention to Queasy and Vino on EU. Their dominant run here in these dual cash cups has been something to mention, but we in Major 1, ahead of Major 1 in FNCS, and they didn't quite have the performance they expected. So these are some stories that we got to pay close attention to, because we're just a few hours away before FNCS starts.
Yeah, I know people are really looking forward to seeing Trashy and Pump compete. And with their really good placement in San Diego, I mean, I, for one, know how uncomfortable it is to not play at my own setup, because I'm used to how my arms are positioned, how I'm sitting, how close I am in my monitor, especially when there's a pressure of people watching you in person as well at DreamHack. So you already know that they're ready to dominate the leaderboard, they're ready to perform their best, and I'm excited to see how they perform in these upcoming weeks for FNCS.
I'm really excited. I mean, the great thing about Queasy and Vino as well, I had the chance to chat to them at Invitational last year, and after that kind of epic Game 12, Cami and Seti, and the aggression, it was a fantastic moment competitively. But you kind of saw that they kind of it didn't work out for them in that situation, but they wanted to push forward from it. I think, as you mentioned, Panda as well, with the likes of Queasy and Vino having not achieved what they wanted to, maybe in the last major. I think it will give them a lot of wind in their sails in this next one. The kind of characters they are, I think it'll be really interesting to watch them, because I think they'll have really worked overtime to ensure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, they've definitely made some adjustments, and you can tell from the first few weeks of these duo cash cups and stuff, they have made some pretty changes to play the game. Plus, they're landing Kinjitsu Crossing, so one of the new areas on the map here for season 2. So you definitely have to pay close attention to what Queasy and Vino are doing, because they've definitely made the right changes going into FNCS week 1. So curiously enough, they'll probably have a top 5 finish, in my opinion, going into EU this weekend. But it really is about how consistent they can remain going into the grand finals.
I think Queasy and Vino are definitely one of the top teams to look out for. And even considering their grands placement last season, I feel like a lot of teams would have been very discouraged and maybe split, look for another duo. But I mean, they've been duoing together for so long. They're persevering through literally anything, any meta. They're doing their best to learn just so they can end up on top.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of duos as well, obviously, we see constant changes to duos across the board, every region. There's always something different that happens. We always kind of sit there with that popcorn, just waiting to see how it's going to unfold. Recently, Vadil and Mr. Savage coming together, which is kind of interesting as well, because I mean, at this point as well, Mr. Savage is pretty much played with most players, I think, across the region right now. He's kind of done it all and seen it all, and he's carrying my namesake as well. You've got to represent. I love that. But I mean, I think the fact that you've got that that kind of that duo, which is interesting to watch as well. Kind of the both proven track record they both have, as well as Aqua's back again playing with Noah. Massive. EU is going to be a really interesting region to watch here. But I think just these new introductions of these new duos, it just really switches things up and makes it kind of even more exhilarating for us watching at home.
Yeah, I mean, look, you mentioned a lot of EU teams because those are teams that we know are playing together going into the weekend. NA is kind of a different story. We have no clue. There's 10 major teams that I have no idea who they're playing with. Booga being one of them, to be honest. We saw him playing with Poyo. We saw him playing with Larson. Obviously, he started the season switching from Peterbot to Miro. I mean, look, there's been so many changes in the Booga camp. I'm curious how that's going to play out because, again, I still don't know to this moment which player he's actually competing with going into week 1, which, again, we're only a few hours away, and there's no clear indication who they're playing with. But, Vanessa, from your perspective, what is the team you got to watch from NA?
I think we should be watching Reet and Epic Whale. I know they're coming from NA West. That is honestly probably a look down upon region. They're not highly regarded like NA East or EU. But it'll be nice. They both moved to Dallas for 0 ping. They're both ready to compete. They're landing one of the best POIs on the map just so they can get better surge because all the buildings are so tall, and mythic shotguns. And they're a really good fighting team as well. And any of the Elite Cups last season, they love to key. So I'm sure they'll be using all of that good loot to their advantage.
Yeah, I mean, just mention some of the teams in that, knowing that all these different duos are going to be merging together in the NA region. I reckon they're going to be relishing the opportunity as well here to come head to head, go against each other as well. So it's going to be really exciting to kind of watch unfold. And speaking of which, FNCS, as we said, is imminent. It's happening very, very soon. Week 1 is right here. Interesting as well. Obviously, the format as well is really exciting because players want to get through as quick as they can. Because as the weeks go whittle on, it gets tougher and tougher, and there's more pressure on players. That's where experience really comes in here. But let's talk about FNCS, Panda. I mean, what do you think is going to happen this season? Lots of change. Obviously, the maps changed considerably as well, obviously, as well as teams. But it's going to be a really exciting major.
No, it is. And we got to talk about some changes to the way that FNCS even works. Because last season in Major 1, it was divisional cups. You make your way to elite cups and an elite ranking, and you can compete in FNCS. Now that has changed. So all you need is to get to Champs League in Arena, which is a much easier task to do. So we're going to see a lot more players than ever competing in week 1, 2, and 3. Now, the way that these first 3 weeks of qualifiers work is there is a series leaderboard that you are putting points on week after week. Through the 3 weeks, the top 40 teams who put those points up on the leaderboard will be able to go straight to the grand finals. Then there's going to be 10 more spots left to qualify on. How do we do that? Well, Surge Week. So teams 41 through 90 on the series board or series leaderboard will then get an opportunity to compete in the Surge Week. In Surge Week, 5 consistent teams and 5 teams that win a game will earn their spot on to the grand finals. And of course, all of that leading to the opportunity to compete in the global championship, with several more spots than before open to go on. Honestly, I'm excited for this probably more than anything, because we continue to see more and more teams slowly creep their way into the global championship as we get these FNCS on.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much pressure, especially, I mean, now that they're combined, it's a little less pressure because I think that's the top 3 spots. So top 3 is not an easy feat alone, but it's more attainable than just the first spot on the leaderboard. So I'm excited to see how duos may start to crumble under pressure after week 1. They want to perform as best as they can. They want to make sure they have enough series points to qualify. I know relying on reboot round style format is not the most ideal, considering how stressful it can be. I mean, winning a game also isn't easy, considering how many heal-offs have been with this current season meta. But I'm sure after these changes, endgames are going to be a little different. It's going to be more elimination heavy, hopefully. And teams are going to be ready after scrimming after week 1. They're prepared.
Yeah, we love the eliminations. That's where the hype really hits us. The energy in the chat online, it's amazing to see it all kind of unfold. And I think the duos will have to work very hard to ensure that they get to that global championship, as mentioned, because having had these experiences recently in the last kind of few months, I guess the last 6 months, if you consider Invitational, DreamHack recently as well. Playing in front of that live audience, being together, you want to be on that stage, Canada. You want to be there, considered one of the best in the world, competing for the ultimate prize. That's that's the prize at the end, the kind of treasure, if you will, at the end of the rainbow, is getting to that global championship and proving that you are the best of the best. And we've seen our players just chatting to them how desperate they are to make it there, because they know how important it is for them and their careers moving forward in Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, look, it all comes down to this. This is it. This is what we've been looking for since the big competition in 2019. We've been looking forward to something that they can earn their way through different qualifiers, and that's what these FNCSs have become, is a qualifying opportunity to go into the global championship. I mean, look, EU has 5 spots, NA has 3 spots, the rest of the regions have 1 spot up for grabs. So the top 5 EU, top 3 NA, and then the top 1 in the rest are the ones going to be walking away with the spots here for Major 2. But the exciting thing is that continues to change. So Major 3, there will be even more spots open. So honestly, I have no clear indication who's walking away with a spot this time around, because again, there's been so many shakeups. There's been obviously the servers merging. So much on the table. This is probably going to be the most exciting FNCS major, in my opinion, of the entire year.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, even after you mentioned the servers merging, people are not really sure who's going to be on top anymore, because for so long it was just kind of like, who's better, East or West? Who's better on West than some of the East teams? So I'm excited to see that now everything is all together. It's like a true NA competition, like who is really on top of the North American region after so long of these debates between both regions.
Yeah, they've been going back and forth for a long time, and finally we're going to have our answer. We're going to see exactly what's up. I can't wait to see. I mean, we haven't even talked about the map as well, the differences there as well. Mega City in the mix, how that's all going to look. It's going to be fantastic to watch unfold here. But as we said, FNCS is kicking off very shortly. We've talked about players as well, though. I'll be in this, and talk about orgs as well, because there's been so many change-ups with the orgs recently. New players joining families. I mean, one of the ones we've talked and seen a lot featured recently is Dignitas as well. The fact that the likes of Boogers are signed. I mean, is Edgy there now? I mean, this is the thing that's all happened. It's all changing, Panda.
Listen, don't listen to the trolls here. Edge is only thing he has association-wise with Dignitas is he's a Dignitas cheerleader. He is not a part of the org. They have been April Fool's trolling for like the entire year. So don't fall victim here, Adam, because he's not a part of the team. There's a lot of them, like you mentioned, another team, PSG, TNA. We saw Blake, Jay, and more. So pick up from there. Literally, Oliver OG was on TV during a football
Crazy.
match, which is just insane to think about where we're at here from a Fortnite org standpoint. But not only them stepping up, Luminosity also picking up a lot of big names in the Fortnite space, including Vanessa.
Yes, Vanessa.
Gosh, I personally love Luminosity, not biased or anything like that. But I'm excited to see them pick up some content creators like myself, Maddie, Jenny Smiles. So I'm hoping that with the LAN coming up at the end of this year, that they'll hopefully pick up some comp players as well. I know I've seen some tweets floating around. I think they've been shooting a couple of DMs to some pros. So I'm hoping that it won't just be content creators in Fortnite, that we'll have some pros in Fortnite as well. And we'll have our little happy family over here.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see actually because it feels like there's a real hype amongst players as well that they're starting to come together. There's a camaraderie as well, being part of obviously different duos, but you're kind of part of that kind of family as mentioned as well. It's really exciting for players and kind of like for us as spectators too, just kind of watching it unfold and see who's going where. I mean, interestingly as well, we're seeing kind of zero build players as well, as you mentioned, getting picked up as well as traditional kind of Fortnite, better players with builds. It's a good sign, isn't it, Panda, to see that as well, that you kind of both kind of sides, whether it be zero builds or otherwise, are being celebrated here, and orgs are recruiting players regardless of which area they specialize in. If they're a great player and they're good in that particular format, then get them on board.
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing about Fortnite is that you can pick up people that participate in Fortnite in several different facets of the game. Because remember, there's the standard BR, there's zero build, and now we have UEFN, or better known as Creative 2.0. So there are 3 creative ways to get involved in the scene, and we're seeing orgs step up in a big way to do that. But honestly, Vanessa, you're a part of an org. Like, what is one of those like highlight things about being a part of an org?
Well, for me, a lot of my joy in Luminosity is because I've known of them for so long. I think I remember talking before I even signed is I've been subscribed to their YouTube channel since 2019. So it's like a long-term connection for me almost to be a part of that. But I think being on the whole family thing, bringing back to that, and seeing orgs finally stake their claim into the Fortnite scene a little bit more is really, really good. I think it helps the longevity of the game as well. It keeps their relevance, they have that mutual relationship with one another. And it makes me happy to see Dignitas come into Fortnite recently after not being in it for so long, and then picking up really, really big names like Booga, Ozzy as well. I mean, he's not a comp player, but he is so involved in the competitive scene. And I mean, TNA has been rooted in Fortnite competitive for so long, and I think them branching out and grabbing Jaith for zero build was a really, really smart decision, especially because I know Jaith is so passionate about zero build and creating content out of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, for you personally as well, I mean, is there something, a specific element that you personally were like, okay, I love the fact that they're able to do that and support me in that particular way, be it, through socials, branding? I mean, what for you was kind of a real kind of game changer? You were like, yeah, this is the one for me. I know the family aspect's important, but was there something particularly you were like, that's a really good thing to have as being part of that particular organization? I'm really pleased that they kind of are kind of adding that to the support for me and my kind of time in Fortnite.
I think one of the things they told me when I was on a call was that they want to help connect us to other games. They want to help us connect to each other as well. And I think that was really, really smart. I mean, as much as we are a family on the Fortnite side, I do want to connect with all of the creators, all of their competitive players, and just the interaction that I have with everyone. I just feel like it helps benefit me in the long run, helps benefit both of us. I love being able to not just feel like a member of a team. It feels like we're connected, we're helping each other out. We're helping each other out with content as well. We're helping each other in the Fortnite scene. We've been doing a little bit of content behind the scenes with Fortnite. Different ideas that I wouldn't have thought of myself. So we just feel like two sides of a brain coming together.
I love that. And I think massive congrats as well, because it's so great hearing you speak so positively about it as well. So GG's, that's amazing. And one of the things you talked about as well there, Panda, was the different areas in which creators now are specializing. One of those things is Creative 2.0 maps. I've had a chance to play a few this week actually, and I have been loving what I'm seeing. For me personally, one that I really fun with the other day was a map called Scary Doll. I don't know if you guys have played this or not. It's kind of like oh dude, it's like ultimately I'm being chased around by a puppet in dark corridors, music blaring in my ears every time it comes near. I mean, petrifying. But I love the fact that it's that experience of like, this new kind of area, new way in which the entertainment, if you will, is kind of being produced by creators out there. And I don't know whether it was RNG or not, but the jump scares to me were on the money. I loved it. It was brilliant. But we're seeing loads, aren't we, Panda? Like this really started. This kind of entire scene is really starting to develop now. It's only been a month or so since it first kind of came. UEFN was released, and already it's so promising.
I mean, we've seen quite a bit already come out of UEFN, which is pretty exciting. To me, this is probably one of the most game-changing tools that you're going to find in any game ever, right? Unreal Engine is one of the main tools used to create games, period. So to see a specialty Unreal Engine created for Fortnite and kind of like living in the world of Fortnite is so exciting. But on top of that, obviously, you got maps like Reboot Royale, bringing that nostalgic feeling of the early days of Fortnite. You have things like there's a good example. There's this dragon map, right? And they showed it in the showcase, but until you actually go in the game and experience it, it's just insane. The quality is incredible, and the fact that you can build full-length games inside of Unreal Engine FN, like it genuinely is groundbreaking. I know I've been playing around with it a little bit and seeing what you can actually do. I know Squatting Dog, he was on DropSpot last time. He just worked on a UEFN map. So there's some big things in the works, and it's just incredible, the possibilities. And we haven't even scratched the surface of what UEFN can look like in the Fortnite scene.
I think UEFN is just, like you said, like game-changing, deal-breaking, honestly. I think it's just such a different way to experience Fortnite itself. And I know there were like creative maps prior to UEFN, but with the really high detailed graphics that you can bring, it's just an entirely different experience. And for once, I'm playing the game off of performance mode. I get to see it so much differently. The lighting looks amazing. Like everything looks top notch, and I'm excited to see what creators do because, like you said, I mean, it's only been out for a few weeks already, but people are coming out with amazing maps. But hopefully within the upcoming weeks, months even, people are gonna really release things that are gonna blow everyone's minds.
Yeah, I mean, I took my my little boy to a gaming exhibition recently to look at like the history of games as they've evolved over time, and I was looking at different maps, and I was thinking about now having the tools at your disposal. That my young lad can actually create his own kind of game, and this kind of using this engine is absolutely unbelievable. Kind of like it's and seeing it evolve as we've seen players over time, Panda, as well, who have obviously developed prof players. To get a real kind of feel for the tools. Really gassed. Imagine what we're going to see in years to come, where people, you said, like fully blown titles. It's a great opportunity as well for aspiring, I guess, game developers who kind of want to get into the world somehow. To kind of, the proof will be in the pudding of what here are the tools. Show us what you can do. It's a great opportunity.
Well, not only that, I mean, if you are a creator and you have a base understanding of Unreal Engine, you can go into UEFN and just begin creating and begin playing around with it. And the possibilities are endless. And this is going to open up the door, like Fortnite has done competitively and in other ways, like obviously pioneering cross-platform back in the day. They are now pioneering the ability to create games for the base user, right? Typically, you're not just going to find anybody being able to hop on UEFN or Unreal Engine and some of these other programs before and just create a full-length game. Now UEFN gives you the tools and makes it simpler for anybody to just walk in, sit down at their computer, and create. And with the revenue tool that they announced, 40% of all Fortnite revenue going to UEFN creator, like, I mean, it's insane to think about what is to come.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the different player base that UAFN bring. I mean, after Zero Build came into the game, it just brought a whole new wave of people over, or even switching game modes because they just prefer the simplicity and the playstyle of Zero Build. So I'm excited with UAFN. Anyone who's not even typically into the core battle royale 100-player format, they can just hop into one of these really good storyline creative maps that some of these people may create. And like you said, with the Epic giving 40% to the creator fund for the creative maps, it's going to unlock this passion for creating, game developing that some people don't even know that they have, especially with how accessible and easier it is to use UAFN compared to before.
Yeah, that's definitely the word of the day, accessibility. Because I think, regardless of we are feeling around Fortnite in general, one map to look out for as well, Vegetable Nightmares, where it's on the loose, really fun to watch. Definitely check that one out as well. Let's talk about where you've been recently as well. You've been working recently here, but DreamHack. Huge, 250K. That is bonkers. Top 10 qualified for that. What was it like being part of that?
Don't mean sheer numbers. I mean the players from around the world and a dominance on top of the leaderboard. I won't say too much, but EU, where were your boys at in the top 10? That's all I'm saying. So it was a really exciting weekend. Obviously, the top 10 teams qualified on to the biggest third-party LAN we have for Fortnite and Gamers 8. So it is really exciting to see how this is coming to fruition, because this is just the first qualifying opportunity for that LAN. So we got 2 more in DreamHack Dallas and later this year. So to get a first opportunity for the, and everything just came together. It was a full night.
Yeah, with best pros. I'm really excited for DreamHack Dallas. Up Zero Build. The bubbles are for me, so excited to see how people bring bunkers back into meta with bubbles, because I think the counter is really, really powerful. It's a little RNG when you're in the hill, you're coming, and how we switch up a little bit based on the possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I like the spectators as well as the